Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome in. As you can see, I am very happy that it is no longer Monday. I promise. I crunched the numbers. I put in the time. I'm going to do my best to give out some winners today. It was a rough one for me. There it is. But I have two great co-hosts with me today. They're going to help along this journey. On today's show, we are going to go through Week 16 in the NFL opening and current lines. We've got 10 hockey games. We will give you out our favorite bets on those. NBA Cup Championship that is here in Las Vegas. Looking forward to that one between the Knicks and the Spurs. We'll give you our thoughts. And then we are going to do a deep dive into 3, potentially 4 big-time matchups in the NFL for Week 16. So this is Sports by the Book. Thank you so much for joining us live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I'm Alex White alongside Ryan McCormick, as always, 5 days a week. And as you know, Tuesdays, Matt Neverett joins us here in studio, the voice of the Aviators, and of course, the Runnin' Rebels, the Hustlin' Rebels.
The whatever Rebels.
All of the Rebels
The
here
blank
in
and
Las
Rebels.
Vegas.
The blank. Hey, I've never been so happy to have a blank whiteboard. The
Feels
slate
good,
is clean
right?
today, Alex. The slate is
Feels
clean.
Good, right? Well, we will try and pick out some winners. We do our best. We do put in the work. You know, sometimes you just have those days.
One bowl game tonight. I got a good one in that one.
Okay, I'm looking forward
If
to
nothing
hearing that.
else.
Thank you for mentioning that. The salute to the Veterans Bowl tonight, Troy and Jacksonville State. We also have to add that into the rundown because we will talk about that. But first, a recap. Let's bring in Ryan McCormick here. Ryan, we both thought the Miami Dolphins could keep it going, but it looks like they ran out of gas. The Steelers, I think, had one of their better games, at least the second half.
Yeah, you went 0-3 yesterday. I went 0-2 on my official plays. Was good with the Tua interception. Did not go to Jalen Ramsey, though. The Steelers were absolutely the right side last night. They dominated the line of scrimmage. Really easy win there for the Steelers. Giving up the touchdown before halftime, the Dolphins did, and then the first drive after halftime really kind of just snowballed things, and the Dolphins didn't really look good really at all in the game until they finally decided that they wanted to step up with 2 minutes left. But Yeah.
Too little, too late.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah, exactly. And then I also missed on the Kings in Dallas last night. They did. It was 0-0 when Darcy Kemper, their starting goalie, got hurt, left the game with a concussion, ended the second period. Well, he got pulled in the first period, leaving the game with a concussion. Then ended the second period, it was tied 1-1. And then the Stars dominated the third period, scoring 3 goals, winning that one ultimately 4-1. So unlucky there. Wrong side with the Finns. So yeah, not a great night for us last night. But to put a bow on it, we'll go NFL favorites in Week 15 went 10-6 straight up, 9-7 against the spread, and totals were 10-6. And the Steelers added an 11th winning leg on the reverse teaser. 11 of 16 games on this card had a winning leg. So if you were lucky enough to get 7 for 7, 2,000 to 1 there. In the NFL. And then looking at the NHL last night, favorites 1-4 straight up, 4 puck lines were covered, 3 reverse, totals went 2-3. And in the NBA, favorites based off opening numbers, we did have 2 games close at pick, 1-4 straight up and against the spread. Totals were also 2-3 on the hardwood.
And it seems like at least the last couple of weeks, especially those reverse teaser cards, have had a lot of legs that have hit. I feel like every Tuesday I'm in here going, man, I wish I would have gotten in on one of those earlier in the weekend.
Well, Ryan has been tracking them, and he did bring it up yesterday to Chris Andrews. He said he did have a couple.
Okay.
So we don't know how many legs or anything. I'm sure we will find out and hear from him. But yeah.
Only because I've never actually played one of the reverse teaser cards. What's the rules? When do you have to get that in by, Ryan?
Well, so it's whenever the games that you're playing kick off. So I mean, you can miss out on the Thursday game and really only play Sunday and Monday games. But yeah, if you want to get the full 7 and have the full opportunity, it is best to get them in before the Thursday game if you want to include that game.
Because I have heard people have some real luck on those for sure.
Well, I mean, it's seeming like some of these favorites, double-digit favorites this week, were 4-1 ATS, and they really weren't even close. And just to put a bow with the Steelers being the last one, they really shut down Miami's run game last night, and they struggled. I do think kind of their luck ran out, right? Won 4 in a row coming into that one, and then just ran into a better team. I thought that was the Steelers' best performance thus far. What do you guys think?
Probably. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to judge this Miami team because they are so hot and cold, and they had been as hot as can be. I think the number 1 rushing attack since Week 10 in the NFL going into that game. And you mentioned, Ryan, what they call the critical 8, the last 4 minutes before the halftime break, and the first 4 minutes coming out of the locker room. And there's teams, and especially veteran quarterbacks, make a name for themselves making their bread in those critical 8. You mentioned the touchdown going into half, touchdown coming out of the half. Brady and Belichick, the architects of that. They were the best in the game to ever do it. So there's a good live betting angle. That's one of my favorite live betting angles in the NFL when you got a team like in this matchup where you've got the better of the 2 quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers, if not physically but mentally, getting the ball. Maybe an even-ish game, but they're getting the ball coming out of the half. I've actually made a lot live betting those instances, especially if that team is down, where if you can go out and get, even if it's 10 points, but if you can come out with 14 points in those 2 drives, that's huge to swing the rest of the game.
Well, yeah, especially, 3 points. It was 3-0 for a very long time before the Steelers did get that first touchdown. So if you could jump in there, then you were looking pretty good after those 2 touchdowns for sure.
That was one of those games where I was kind of watching it, kind of doing other things as well in the background. Then I look up and it's 0-0, and I've in my mind, I'm like, oh, this game just started. Oh, no, it's the start of the second quarter. What's going on? Yeah, that was a weird opening quarter, and then all of a sudden the points came flooding in late. Sorry for the underbetters in that one. Everyone probably feeling great. Yeah, everybody probably felt great after a 0-0 first quarter.
The number's up to 63 straight games that the Steelers have failed to go over 7.5 first quarter points.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, might have missed out there on the first quarter team total. But yeah, Alex, to your question of it being the best game the Steelers have played this season, I 100% agree. And they now put themselves at the forefront of the AFC North, needing to win just 2 of 3 in order to win the division with the head-to-head in Week 18. So if they just win the next 2 games, Week 18 doesn't matter for them.
I mean, just colloquially, in my mind, they're going to go 1-2 because they're going to finish 9-8 because they're the Steelers. We'll see if Mike Tomlin can do that. I mean, is a 10-win season that much better? We'll see. I mean, if a division championship's a division championship, but I just think the 9-8 record is almost an inevitability now with the 17-game schedule. I saw somebody on Twitter go, Mike Tomlin, probably, it was a fake quote, well, you can't win 9 if you don't lose 8. Which is about right.
They were saying on the broadcast, too, Mike Tomlin had a crazy record on Monday nights
Steelers-
at home. Home games.
Steelers
Monday
have won
night.
23 straight
Thank
Monday
you.
night home games.
There it is.
Which, I don't know if there's many other teams that have played 23 Monday night games at home in the history of the franchise, but to win 23 of those, that's insane. Another fun Tomlin stat while we're talking about that I saw. So the Chiefs, the Bengals, a lot of these teams going to be playing 3 meaningless games, so to speak, with nothing on the line these last couple of weeks. Mike Tomlin, in his entire tenure with the Steelers, has played 1 meaningless game.
Oh my God.
Insane. So they're always in it. It's not a knock on the Steelers. They're always in it, but they're always going to be 9-8.
Well, yeah, that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because that means that week 18 is still meaningful.
Especially
at
for
the same
for
time.
people who are unfortunate enough to have their fantasy championship in week 18.
With the
I'm not the commish.
Mike Tomlin on Monday Night Football, it is specific to Monday Night Football because they did have a game flexed in the COVID year that they did play on Monday, but they were not technically Monday Night Football, that they lost to the Commanders. So that was just a caveat to that Monday Night Football.
It's always a technicality, right?
That's right. Congrats to Attila. I know he did have the over yesterday. He said we did have 2-way action on that one and got there with a little bit of garbage points there at the end. But just to kind of put a bow on everything. So as I mentioned, we are going to go through the entire slate here for week 16. Those big games that we are going to dive into, Green Bay and the Bears. We just saw this matchup 2 weeks ago. The Patriots and Baltimore, we were just talking about the Ravens and the Steelers and what the Ravens need to do for that head-to-head to matter. Well, they have a very tough opponent coming up this weekend. We'll also look at the Niners and the Colts with Phillip Rivers getting his second start being back in the league. And then, time permitting, we may talk about the Rams and the Seahawks, which is Thursday. Also, I got to bring it up now before I forget, but 10 hockey games and the highly anticipated, maybe just by me, but the Oilers and the Penguins playing each other tonight.
You're not the only one anticipating that game.
And we know the big trade there with Skinner and Tristan Jarry, and both of them starting for their new teams. So
only because I wasn't on with you the day that dropped. What's your thoughts? Because just on the surface, that just seemed like a weird deal.
Well, I saw all of the memes, right? And they're kind of just saying it's just switching for the exact same goalie, but I definitely think it is a step up. I mean, the numbers definitely say it, and I just think the whole thing with Stuart Skinner is when he faced the better teams, like I was looking at him going against the Avs, gave up 4 goals before being pulled. The Stars gave up 4 before being pulled, so it was always gave up the goals in bunches, right? And then he really put his team in a bad spot. So I like it. We'll see if it works out for the Oilers, but
I mean, and sometimes a change of scenery can really benefit a player, especially a goalie. They're probably the most mentally by themselves, locked in, like they're doing their own thing. I think a goalie maybe would benefit the most potentially from a change of scenery, but who knows?
100%. And Ryan had said it off the air, like Edmonton had already turned their backs on him, whether it was the franchise or the fans or both, right? It's kind of all fallen on him that they can't get over the hump and win a cup.
The relationship between teams, whether it be the ownership, GMs, or the fans and goalies in hockey, is so fun to watch. If you're going throughout the course of an entire season, like Penguins fans and Golden Knights fans, extremely lucky to have the consistency that they did with Marc-Andre Fleury when they had him, because that is far from the norm in hockey, as we've seen, and especially since the Flowers left Pittsburgh or left Vegas and retired. Yeah. So that's an interesting one tonight, to see them so soon after, almost like Micah Parsons and the Cowboys and the Packers in that one earlier this year.
Yeah. It's funny, too. And look how long it took Vegas to forgive ownership, right?
Yeah,
For
exactly.
Even moving on from Marc-Andre
Merci
Fleury.
beaucoup, les fleurs.
But we will get to that. Let's dive in. Let's go to the NFL first. Football is king, and we do have a lot of meaningful games. Some of them, as you kind of teased there, Matt, don't mean a whole lot, and we'll give you our thoughts if we still like anything or if there's a reason to bet it, maybe even going with an over there. But kicking off the week with the best game on the board. I'll just say that the Rams and the Seahawks Thursday night, both of them 11-3. Not only is this for the number 1 seed in the NFC West, but potentially number 1 seed in the conference. The Rams got the best of the Seahawks in the first matchup. It's a pick 'em here at the South Point total 44.5. I'll just tell you right now, and I know you like teasers, I'm going to look for a 1 out there so I can tease Seattle up to 7 with a partner for sure, but I also do like Seattle to win this game.
Interesting.
Either of you early thoughts, or you want to save those?
I mean, I've got plenty of thoughts on this one, so I can give you some now, some later. We'll save some. I mean, I'm a trends guy, and I've got plenty of trends that lean one way. May not be the way that you like, but this game is chock full of them. And the Rams, are now, I would say, like the Chiefs were over the last couple of years, where they're consistent, they're dependable. There's certain spots where you know what to expect from Sean McVay and company, just like you saw from Mahomes and Reed. One of them is playing on the road. They've been outstanding on the road as of late. One of them is playing in December. How about this? Over the last 5 seasons, they have gone 17-3 against the spread in the month of December.
I believe
They
that.
heat up as the season goes on. I've got plenty of other numbers, especially talking about their recent performance and how awesome they've been on the road over the last couple of years. But I'll leave you with this before we get on to the next one. The Rams as a team versus Sam Darnold personally since the start of last year. 3-0 ATS straight up.
Wow.
They have found a way to dominate against Sam Darnold. Some coaches and some teams just have certain players' numbers. We've seen it throughout history.
Well, we'll definitely get all of your trends when we break that one down at the end of the show. Whether Ryan and I give our full thoughts, we will hear it from
I
you.
have full thoughts.
And
That's
get
all
the
that
rest
matters.
of that for sure. But Saturday, we've got a doubleheader. I'm looking forward to this as well. Packers going to Chicago. As I mentioned, Packers did win the first matchup. This game opened Green Bay 1.5. It is moving. It's 1 now at the South Point. So liking the points here with Chicago total 46.5 up to 47.
I'll jump in because I know Ryan has absolutely no opinion on this game. No, totally kidding. I will say, bad weekend to be a Packers fan last weekend, good weekend to be a Bears fan last week as they moved into the 2C. But generally, for both of you guys, what are your thoughts on the Saturday games? I'm a big fan. I know people that are true college football purists hate it. But when we get to this time of year, something's got to fill the void. You know, these Monday, Wednesday bowl games are great. But when it comes to Saturday, I want to watch football. You know, I want to sit on the couch and watch football for 2 full days. So, I mean, I like the Saturday games. What say you guys?
With where we're at in the year, we do have college football playoff games this same Saturday. So I don't know if I need the NFL games as well. But, yeah, I mean, I don't hate having NFL on both days of the weekend.
Next year, they've got to move these to 1 more week ahead, right? So right after the Army-Navy, we get the 2 NFL. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to overshadow the Heisman too much, but that would be a good spot, I think, instead of a random bowl game where Washington beat up
you're
on
worried
Boise.
about jutting up against the Heisman? That's not like they're going to lose any viewers.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I do like the Saturday games too, because most of us have multiple games going on at once.
Exactly.
Regardless. And we'll see how competitive these Saturday games are for college this first round. But let's keep it moving here. As I mentioned, we'll get Ryan's thoughts on that matchup because I'm sure he does have some when we break that one down in full. But what else do we have on the board on that Saturday?
Eagles commies. I call them the commies as a joke, but it's an interesting time right now in our nation's capital with Jaden Daniels shut down. I think they're going to go full tank mode. You don't. We talked about this one before the show. Marcus Mariota, I guess the question becomes is how much of a step down is he? I think the fact that he's been able to play and able to get into a rhythm over these last couple of weeks certainly helps. And I think that Jaden Daniels probably should have been shut down when he blew that up the first time. I get that it's the non-throwing arm, but with how A, mobile, and B, kind of fragile he is. He's not a big bruiser like a Josh Allen. He's more like an RG3 in terms of his build, which we saw how that worked out. So who knows? And then the Eagles are coming in with as much momentum as they've had all season long. They blew out the Raiders, which, say what you will, it's the Raiders, but 31 points and a shutout, both great accomplishments in any NFL game. They did it together, and I think that the Eagles have their way in this game. The Commanders 31st in the league in defensive efficiency or per EPA. They've given up the 7th most points per game, and I just don't think the offense is going to give them as much support as they need with this one. Likely, in my eyes, closing it over a touchdown.
Well, 4 straight weeks that we've had at least one team shut out on the board, and the past 3 weeks, it's been good to fade the team that does the shutting out and playing the team that got shut out.
I remember that, yeah.
So with the Eagles shutting out the Raiders 31-0, that game was a huge confidence boost. This game should also be a big confidence boost, especially with them going into Buffalo next week.
They need it.
They absolutely need it to get ready for playoff formation, but yeah, I don't know if I can actually play them minus the touchdown against this division rival here in Washington.
This may be a good tee spot the other way. You know, I like teasing typically dogs to that bigger line, but this may be a good tee spot the other way if you can get it at over a touchdown. The other thing, and I don't know how much you want to factor this in, the game against the Raiders, I saw that it was the 2nd fastest game since they started tracking in the history of the NFL.
Yes.
So it was like 2 hours, 20 minutes, wham, bam, thank you, man, bunch of run plays, bunch of running clock, bunch of 3 and outs for the Raiders, and they got the hell out of there. So you wonder almost if that helps in terms of the fatigue, in terms of the wear. Maybe not quite as much because they played like a full hour less than they're used to.
I think that other team is in 100% tank mode.
Yeah,
I think that has
so too.
more to
I
do
think
with
so
it
too.
than anything. Hopefully I'm not chasing, and I'm gonna double check because as long as Terry McLaurin's playing and his wide receivers, you saw Marcus Mariota get to him last week, and I say chasing because I knew Washington was the right side last week against the Jets, and I got a little bit nervous, them coming off of the game before, but I just think 6.5 is way too many points here, and you just made me like it even more, Ryan, with the Bills next weekend. I mean, maybe looking ahead, this is a division matchup. Washington would love nothing more than to play spoiler here, so 6.5. I made it 3.5, and feel like I've been pretty good with my Washington numbers. So looking to take that 6.5 here with Washington as of right now.
I think for me, it's an Eagles tease or nothing. I could see this one finishing like 23-20. It could be a very close game with the Eagles having to stave off a late Marcus Mariota comeback drive or something like that. These division games late in the year are usually a little bit tighter than if they were earlier.
Yeah, that is true.
Interesting. Yeah, but the Saturday games.
Let's go to some Sunday here.
Yeah.
Let's get to the real football day.
First game in rotation number order is the Buffalo Bills in Cleveland taking on the Browns. They opened a 10-point favorite. They have stayed a 10-point favorite over the last 24 hours plus, and the total opened 43.5, has gone down a 1.5 now to where we're at 42.
Man, this one just screams under to me, and it screams get on it right now. I think that this one will likely continue to drop a couple of points. If we get under 40 here, that'd be something in a game with the 10-point spread to be a total of under 40. But the only two numbers here that really make me think under and have been pretty successful this year, the Bills this season in road games are 5-2 to the under. They've been able to slow it down with the increased effort in the running game and James Cook's prowess this year. And the Browns this season as a home dog, 3-1 to the under. So both of those trends kind of lead me to an underplay, but it would be like early or now. Go ahead and get it. This could be another one. I'm not a huge fan of teasing totals, but this may be one that I would include if it gets down to like 41. You tease it up to 47, and bake it in there with the Eagles or something like that. That would be my only play in this one is under or potentially on a tease on the under.
My lines are very tight at this time of the year. That is why Commanders jumped out to me so much. So I'm right there, 10 and 41.5, but I think you make some great points. Maybe a little bit of a weird sandwich spot for the Bills coming off that big Patriots win and then the Eagles up next. So that makes me a little bit concerned. I'd lean more to taking the points, but I like your under thinking, and the Bills might be thinking like the Eagles were, get in, get out, right? Let's just try and get this win and stay healthy.
I could see the Bills getting up by 2 touchdowns. Let's just say it's a 24-10 game and then just really running it, taking it down. And, that still gets you there under. That still gets you on the cover. So everybody can be happy. That's what I'm hoping for, because I definitely am going to play this one under. But it's going to be either like now or later this afternoon for sure.
Oh, and I'll just throw this in now because I was pretty shocked to see this. Looking at seconds per play, Buffalo right now is the slowest in the league.
In terms of time between plays.
Between plays.
So Allen's getting to the line and reading and making checks, and
yes,
some could see that as the next progression of a quarterback of his ilk, and some could see that as maybe him taking a little longer to read some more challenging defenses that they're getting a lot of different looks thrown at him. I'm not sure which one it is necessarily, but those are the two things that immediately makes me think of. That's an interesting note, though.
I like it too, and they are top 3 in run percentage. So definitely using James Cook and leaning that way.
So you less plays, more running clock. So actually, that makes me love under here.
This one is a one that I do have a 3-leg teaser already, early week teaser. I did take the Bills down to 4. A play against Shedeur Sanders. The Bills may be looking forward to the Eagles next week, but knowing that they need to get the business done in order to stay competitive in the AFC East and need the help from the Patriots to lose couple more games. But I do like the Bills minus the 4 and took it early in case we move to 10.5, which it has been a take elsewhere in the market on the 10.5. So to play the number there. But
I do like that one.
Going to the next one, not so good. New York Jets on the road in New Orleans taking on the Saints. Open Saints minus 4, still there at minus 4. Opened total at 40, still there at 40. And the one thing I would say to kind of combat the team's tanking is that kind of Rap Sheet had tweeted it earlier in the week. When you're trying to change the culture, you need to win games. And that's exactly what the Saints did last week, beating the Panthers. The Jets culture has always been messed up. So, yeah, we're still sitting here at the numbers that they opened.
And if Rams Seahawks is the best game of the week on Thursday, this is the antithesis, the very antithesis of that. This one's gross. And Yeah, and that tweet was in relation to the Saints and Tyler Shuck. You know, I don't know. I got nothing on this game because these are just two teams that I have not enjoyed watching this year. And the Saints are plucky. Like, I'll give them credit. They fight hard for a team that really probably should be tanking. That 11th pick overall is going to hit like crack when they win over these next couple of weeks. And I don't know. It's one of those things, and I see both sides of it from a storyline perspective in the NFL. Like, you want the better draft pick, and it's the league where the worst record gets the best pick. So it's very easy to make that argument. But you also want to build that culture. I think there is an argument to be made. And is Tyler Shuck in this instance the long-term answer in New Orleans? Absolutely not. But is a potential third-string tight end, a backup safety, these guys that are getting in and having some success that are on multi-year deals and are going to be a part of the future of this franchise? I guess the question becomes is how much do they value these experiences on the field? And just don't ask Lovie Smith about winning late in the season when you're supposed to be tanking. That worked out well for all parties involved, but that's a rare instance. With this game, I would have to see how the line moves. I would imagine at this point early in the week that this is the one probably taking the least action on the board.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did get some action. I mean, I could see some people making the case that the Saints should not be a 4-point favorite over anyone in the league.
I agree with that.
I will say that is where my numbers come.
Ready for it?
I think that it is correct.
Does that say more about the Jets or more about the Saints, though?
I think it says more about the Jets, definitely. But so this is a pass for me. I'm right there, side and total. So won't be getting any action from me, but I could just hear Chris Andrews saying that surprisingly, they have a lot of handle on it.
The Jets also scapegoated by firing Steve Wilkes, their defensive coordinator, yesterday. So some changes on the defense when their head coach is a defensive-minded guy, and Aaron Glenn, and that normally doesn't work out great when your head coach is the same facet as your coordinator that gets fired.
And Aaron Glenn, former DC with the Saints, they were abysmal when he was there. So maybe that's an angle you can play where if the Jets have an opportunity, we'll run it up maybe. But who knows? This game, this is one of those ones. Like Rams Seahawks, I see it and I get excited and I'm ready to talk about it. I didn't even want to look into this game. I did, but I'm like, come on. There's just nothing that excites me about this one.
Well, how about this next one? Because two teams that are already eliminated again here, but Minnesota still playing tough. We saw that big win for them on Sunday night. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite on the road over the Giants. Total 43.5. Jackson Dart does not want to be shut down for the year and wants to continue playing football the way that he does.
Yeah.
You see anything in this one? Nothing jumped out to me. It's very close to my numbers.
I mean, I found two trends on the Giants that may or may not lead me to a play. One of them is that they've gone over in their last 4 games in a row, so that is something to take a look at with 43.5. I think that these are two teams that are going to take a bunch of downfield shots. I could see this one being high scoring because neither of these defenses are anything special. But here's another one. Tell me what you make of this. The Giants this year, they've played 3 games where the spread is like this one way or another, 3 points or less. They have not covered in any of them. So when it's a tight spread, 3 points or less, the Giants have been blown out on all 3 occasions. And I think that the Vikings very well could come in and do that with J.J. McCarthy at this point of the year. It's kind of like a show and prove for him as far as his future potential in Minnesota. A lot of people are down on him, including inside that very locker room. But yeah, the Giants are a tough team to bet against at this point. I will say, like Jackson Dart, they could be 0-15, and he's probably going to play the same way. He's one of those quarterbacks. Yeah. So this is another one where the line's really, really tight. I think in these instances, you got to go with the trend. I would go Vikings on the road. And I would go over if I were to make a play on either of these right now. This is one where I'm going to see if it gets down to 2.5 for whatever reason. I may fire on the Vikings right away. But if it gets to 3.5, I may wait, see if you can get even up to like 5, something like that. See if you can get the comeback on the Giants.
Ryan's definitely watched more Giants games than probably most.
Yeah, a little more intently.
Touchdown for Danny B this week?
He did score one against the Vikings earlier in his career when they beat them in the playoffs in 23.
It's an omen.
That one was in Minnesota, though. So Jackson Dart has started 9 games for the New York Giants this year. He's been in concussion protocol 5 times.
I saw that.
That's awful. That is a terrible way to manage your body, terrible way to manage your brain. The Giants are very poorly coached. The Vikings are not. And the Vikings have 2 very good confidence boosts the last 2 weeks. It's a play on the Vikings here. The Giants are 57, 71, and 1 in MetLife Stadium since it opened. So this team isn't good at home. And Matt had mentioned they're not good when it's a close spread like this. It's the Vikings in this game.
And I think the coaching angle, I'm glad you brought that up. That is
Yeah.
certainly something that makes an impact in a game like this.
Definitely does.
Two
Even
teams
though
without
I
anything
will
to play
say,
for.
you guys are saying they have confidence from those last 2 games. I mean, that's when I almost want to fade
You wanna fade,
them
yeah?
because
Sell high?
I don't. Yeah, a little bit of a sell high. I did make it too, so I'm right there, I guess. And you bringing up the coaching thing, I think you got to factor that in for sure.
I think you're talking about 2 very motivated quarterbacks who are both playing for pride and their own personal futures. I think you're going to get an inspired effort from both of those guys, if no one else. And we had talked about
Yeah,
it
definitely.
before the show, before we took the air, about these teams that are already eliminated from the playoffs. Generally speaking, you expect the offenses to keep humming and those guys to want to, if anything, ramp up their performance, where maybe that mental clarity, that mental focus would lapse a little bit on the defensive side of things. Generally speaking, that's where we see it this time of year with these eliminated teams. So that's an angle that I'd like to play, because now that we get into this time of year, motivation really, really becomes a factor. And I think, to your point, Ryan, coaching really makes a difference when you're already eliminated from the playoffs. And yeah, it's Vikings or nothing for me. This, like I said, 2.5. If this moves, I'm firing right away.
I'm going to quickly bring up this one. It is out of order for time-wise because it has been flexed to Sunday night, and we are going to break this one down in full. I know Matt is excited about it.
I'm flexing.
1-1-3, 1-1-4, the Patriots and Baltimore. The Ravens open 2.5. Now they're a 3-point favorite at home, coming off of that shutout win over the Bengals. Everybody here on Sports by the Book doubted Baltimore, and they really showed up in that one. Total 48. So we'll get to that one when we really break it down, but we can continue with the Sunday schedule for
Let's
now.
do it. Well, the next one's a NFC South showdown, and it's 2 teams I think with some of the more interesting storylines in the NFL coming into this week. You got the Bucs in Carolina against the Panthers, open 2.5, now up to 3 points. So a little bit of steam coming in on the Buccaneers. I wanted to ask you, Alex, before we get into the handicap of the game, for your system and the way you do it. The Bucs are coming off of what they call the mini bye with a Thursday game against Atlanta last week, and so you've got the extra couple of days of rest. It's not a full bye week, but I actually wanted to ask, do you factor that into your calculations, that mini bye?
A little bit. I mean, just kind of helps your case, right? If it all starts with the numbers, that's like 75 to 80% of it, and then you're looking for these factors that makes it like a confirmed bet, right? Or looking for things that you want to stay away from it, such as if it were the opposite. But I definitely think that'll help Tampa Bay here. And if you caught any of the post game, I mean, this team is pretty angry, and the Panthers gave them a gift by losing to the Saints. So now
that division's crazy.
It is.
That division is nuts. My thing is you got 2 teams coming in, and I think the trends bode well for both of them. The Buccaneers, the fact that they lost that game against Atlanta. Third and, 28? That was what Mike Evans just kept repeating when he walked into the locker room. We had him third and blank and 28. And then Falcons scored and blah, blah, blah. The Buccaneers put up 338 yards and 28 first downs on Thursday night last week, averaged 5.5 yards per play, and were 3 for 3 on scoring touchdowns when they got into the red zone. And I think that's one of the more underheralded numbers when you're looking at teams, and with so little separating teams at this time of year, I think red zone success is going to be a major. Red zone success and turnover differential are the 2 things that, if nothing else at this point of the year, everything else being even, I'm looking at those in terms of picking a winner in these games. The question is, though, for the Panthers, they've been terrible on the road. They've been a lot better at home. How about this? Coming back home this weekend, their average points per game is 6 points higher at home than on the road. And in the NFL, that's a big difference.
Wow.
So it's kind of strength on strength. Buccaneers coming hot with a lot of motivation. I think that's an understatement. A ton of motivation.
Yes.
And the Panthers playing at home where they've been a lot more successful all year. I don't think that this one gets over 2.5 or under 3.5. Like, I could see this one staying right where it's at. I think that this is one of the ones where the book has it right. I think the total may be a little high, but I think a lot of that depends on the health of these 2 rosters as well.
I definitely think we're going to be able to see a ton of offense from the Buccaneers in this one. These 2 teams see each other 2 times over the final 3 weeks of the year. We're thinking that Week 18 is going to be what decides the division.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Buccaneers are going to be able to win both. And then for anybody curious about the all-time numbers, Carolina does lead 25-24 all-time, but the Bucs have won 5 straight, 9 of the last 10, 11 of the last 13 going back to 2018. And I think they're going to keep it rolling, being able to own the Panthers here in the last 7 years.
My question would be, in those wins, are they by a big margin? Because I would like Tampa Bay to win this game, but the Panthers to cover, and especially that you said that, because my home field for the Panthers right now is 1.5. That makes me want to bump that up a little bit to at least 2.5, maybe 3, because I'm right there at 3. So probably looking for a 3.5 or maybe teasing this one up because I can see it being close and interesting at the end, but I do think Tampa Bay will get the win.
Absolutely. I agree. I think as they get healthier, they'll get better. I think Baker Mayfield may be, of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, the one that you can bet on based on storylines. Like this one, like even back to his college days, he was the, tell him you can't do it, he'll do it in spades and then tell you about it afterwards. And I think that this is the kind of game where I think that if you're Tampa, you may feel a bit disrespected. Not that they haven't earned this game. Like, I think they should be right about 3-point favorites. I think they probably feel they should be favored a lot more heavily.
Well, and definitely helps make Baker Mayfield when he's got Mike Evans. And we saw the difference last week.
Oh
it was
God.
just the defense and up 14 points and then to lose that game. And
Yeah.
Todd Bowles had a lot to say about it at the end.
Only 3 of the last 10 have been one-score games. The Bucks did win the most recent matchup, December 29th of last year, by 34 points.
Oh my goodness.
They faced 3 times in the calendar year of 24. They won by 34, won by 3 in overtime, and then had a 9-0 shutout win in Carolina to start 2024.
I guess based off that, like if you were to tell me just take the teams out, hey, one team's going to win by 12 points. I think that the Buccaneers probably have a better chance to win by 2 touchdowns than the Panthers do.
Well, then you should find a couple more and you should take that teaser parlay.
I might have
Because I
to.
bet you that is what the number is on there. Or is it probably 9? Is it a 6-point?
The reverse teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, you would need them to win by 10 if Chris and company uses the 3.
All right,
that's
this
currently
might
listed.
be my debut because there's some of these numbers that I think would be very interesting to play on that card this week. We'll see.
All right, going
See if we can find
to
some more here.
an AFC battle between 2 teams eliminated. The Kansas City Chiefs on the road in Tennessee taking on the Titans. This one opened Chiefs minus 3.5. We are still, or no, excuse me, it's been a take on the 3.5. We are now at 3, and the total opened 37.5. We are still there at 37.5.
I think the question in this game, at least for me, and like I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole until we get later in the week and a little bit more clarity on what we can expect from the offenses. But going into this week, the Chiefs have called the 4th highest rate of pass plays per game in the NFL. And of course, that's with Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, keep that in mind. How much do we think that changes with Gardner Minshew? And he's a gunslinger. He's going to be a guy who wants to sling the rock around the yard. But I don't know if that changes. Like, I could see this game going over. I could see his props going over. And I could see the Chiefs just literally just throwing the ball all day against this Titans defense that has been abysmal against the pass all year. I don't think with Gardner Minshew you need to change that much.
No, I agree with you. And to be honest, I mean, I know the Titans have looked better the last 2 weeks. They've looked more competitive, but they're not a good football team.
Yeah, better by, yeah.
I think
by
I think
comparison.
3 points here is okay for the Chiefs. My number with Patrick Mahomes in is 10. So is he worth 7 points to the line? Probably fairly close.
Is that about where you'd have him? 7?
I'd probably say 6-ish, right?
I'd say like my immediate instinct was like 5 or 6. Is 7?
We'll have
There's
to
probably
see.
only like 2 or 3 players in the league that are worth a touchdown.
I mean, yeah.
If there's any, he's up there.
It's him and Lamar Jackson, maybe Josh Allen. But so I think it's a little bit of a overreaction. I would only be playing the Chiefs here. And Gardner Minshew, we'll see how he does. Did not look great here in Las Vegas, but didn't really have an O-line. And we're seeing
Yeah.
nobody's really looked
Big
good.
difference in coaching staff as well.
Difference in coaching staff.
That's putting it lightly.
Sounds like we all kind of like the Chiefs in this spot. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah. I mean, this one's a stay away. No Patrick Mahomes. Gardner Minshew hasn't really been a starter, hasn't been a capable starter, even here in Las Vegas. So I won't be betting on this game.
I do want to bring up one more point that I forgot because I was going through when I finished my power ratings for last week. I wanted to see where my power scores were for the year. The top 4 power scores are teams: Rams, Seahawks, Lions, and then the Chiefs. So the Chiefs, I know everybody's saying how bad they looked and, what a bad year it was. They weren't as bad as perceived.
They're just consistent.
It just the regression from they were so lucky the past few years, but they still were performing and right there. to where they were. But
Well, the big thing for the Chiefs as of the last couple of years was their record in one-score games.
Exactly.
And a lot of that's coaching. A lot of that is Mahomes and the magic that he gets going at the end of the game.
yes,
They've had the exact opposite luck this year. They've had really bad luck in the one-score game. So, yeah, it was a matter of time before they fell back to earth. And I don't know if you guys saw this number. I know it got shared around when they got eliminated before Mahomes eliminated his ACL. This is going to be the first year with the first playoffs without Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Patrick Mahomes since 1998. One of those three has been in the playoffs every year since 1998. My brother Drew was born in 1999. So literally his entire life, the NFL playoffs have had either Manning, Brady, or Mahomes. And I'm not going to call you out, Ryan.
Yeah, also my entire life.
Oh, I forget how old I am.
yeah, you're more calling us out.
Yeah, you know, once you hit your mid-30s, it's game over, man.
All right, let's keep it rolling here because we do want to go and really do a deep dive into those big games. Next one, I'm very intrigued with the Chargers in Dallas. The Chargers catching points here. And I know the Dallas Cowboys are very desperate, but this number just feels a little off to me, especially I know that the Chargers have the Texans up next, so I think people are thinking this is like a flat spot. They just knocked the Chiefs out, right? Didn't have the Houston Texans, but the Chargers they haven't solidified their playoff spot
They
yet.
have a lot to play for.
So I don't understand this number. It'll be Chargers for me. Be careful. Might be a trendy dog, as Chris Andrews always says. But as of right now, that's making my card.
The Cowboys taking action. This one opened at 1.5 and is up to 2. The two things for me, I don't know if you can set a total high enough in this game. I think this is going to be a high-scoring, high-flying game. Cowboys passing the ball, the 8th highest rate in the NFL this year. 61% of their plays have been passing, so a lot of Dak Prescott. And believe it or not, the Chargers have called the 5th most pass plays in the NFL this year. So these are two teams that love to air it out. It's going to be indoors at Jerry World. Both of these teams still trying to solidify who they are in their playoff spots, and both of them still with plenty to play for. So I think that we go into the 50s in this one with relative ease. If I'm going to tease a total, like I mentioned with that one earlier, I think this is one that I take the other way. Tease it down to like a 43.5 and just hope that they put up 50 between them.
This was the second leg of my teaser.
Love it.
I took the Chargers plus the 8.
Yes.
Do think they'll be able to keep this one-score game. Do think they'll be able to win this one outright, actually. Funny note about this one, we talked about the Cowboys beating the previous Super Bowl teams in back-to-back weeks. The Chargers just did so. And so with their confidence and them recognizing that the remainder of their schedule will be playoff atmospheres, playoff games in Dallas against Houston and then in Denver, I like the Chargers here. I think their defense is going to be able to shut down the Cowboys offense. I don't know if I like the over as much, just because I do respect the Chargers defense and what they're able to do. And we'd kind of seen the Cowboys struggle a little bit last week with a capable defense.
And I mean, yeah, like we said, still plenty to play for. I believe this one does eliminate Dallas if they lose, correct?
Yes.
I think they can be eliminated before this game, if I'm not wrong.
That
If
week
the
one tie,
Eagles-
With the
baby.
Eagles.
If the Eagles win on Saturday, the Cowboys are eliminated.
That tie coming back to haunt it. No more ties. We need to eliminate the tie. That's if I'm commissioner for a day. Maybe not the first thing I do, but it's up there.
I don't know. I like that 10-minute overtime thing.
Yeah,
so
but
if
then
it
you
ends,
just
then it ends.
no, yeah. Then you go 2-point conversions. But then again,
Okay.
I'm a college
Okay.
junkie, so
Yeah.
that's what I like. I just don't. I'm an American. I don't like ties. I'm only kind of kidding. Yeah, I think that one's high flying. You know what? I actually do think that this next one may be the highest scoring game of the week.
Oh, I thought you were going to go high flying.
No, I could have made an ornithological pun there, but the bird is the word as Atlanta travels to Phoenix. How about that? Falcons against the Cardinals, and total at 46, all the way up to 47.5 now. So this one flying up already 1.5 higher than the opening total. Atlanta is laying 2.5. They're on the road, and this is another one. Over for me, if nothing else. This is going to be on my card. Cardinals in their last 10 games, 8-2 to the over. Falcons have gone over 6 of their last 7. And what's more, Atlanta has given up 40 or more points in 4 of their last 6 games. It's a lot to give up 30 in the NFL. To give up 40 is a ton.
Yeah.
To do it 4 times in 6 weeks. Give me this one in a high flying total.
The big thing is, can Kirk Cousins do what he did against Tampa Bay 2 weeks in a row here? I think if there is a defense that he can exploit, especially with the injuries, now I really saw it come to fruition. I mean, they made the Houston Texans look like one of the best offenses in the league last week, so I do not hate that over at all. Jacoby Brissett still playing hard. Him and Trey McBride, they might be 2 of the only guys out there. Mass, you might want to look at some of those props, but I do think you could get some points here. I am right there Well, actually, I think that's a little bit. It's getting a little high on the Falcons, but so it'd be a lean to taking those 2.5 here with the Cardinals at home. But I'm probably going to pass on that one. If anything, I'll jump in with the over.
This could be a tease for me. I just don't know if I trust the Cardinals to keep this one close, especially if the points start getting up there.
Well, remember too, I mean, there's a lot of chatter around that franchise as well. So he's coaching for his job.
Jacoby Brissett's putting tape out there for his next job next year. So I think that the motivation factor is certainly there for both quarterbacks and both coaching staffs to keep putting points on the board.
Both coaching staffs is right.
That's a big one, yeah.
You're right.
All right, keeping things moving, going to Jaguars on the road in Denver, 2 division-leading teams.
2 hottest teams in the league?
Yes, sir. And we had the Broncos open a 3-point favorite. We are still at a Broncos 3-point favorite, and the total open 45. We are up a half to 45.5.
And while I think Rams-Seahawks is probably the best game of the week, I think this one might be my favorite in terms of the storyline and in terms of how I think it's going to go. I think this one's going to be tight. I think it's going to be right down to the wire. I think one way or another, whether you're laying or catching the 3 in this game is a better. You're going to be sweating it down to the end. This one may be a stay away for me, but we'll see. The thing you got to consider is that the Jaguars have been the single hottest team in the NFL over the last 5 weeks, especially offensively. They've won and covered 5 straight times. They've beat the spread over the last 5 weeks by an average of 16.5 plus points. So they're not just winning, they're dominating. I mean, they are beating everybody by a long shot. And since the bye week, the Jaguars have gone 7 games since their bye. Trevor Lawrence, in that span, has 1,800 pass yards, 8 touchdowns, and they've put up 25 or more points in every single game. Over is 5-2 in Jacksonville's last 7. Denver has gone over in each of their last 3. That being said, I like over because you can basically pencil in Jacksonville for 25 points. If you think the Broncos get to 20, I think that gets you there. You know what? Give me the Jaguars. Give me the Jaguars on the road. 2 division-leading teams. Partially with my head, partially with my heart, because I need the Broncos to lose and the Patriots to win. I'd love a bye and love the playoffs to go through Foxborough, but I digress. I do think Jacksonville. I would like the Jaguars to upset. This will be one if I tease that I include as well, getting Jacksonville up to near double digits.
This will be the first playoff atmosphere and first attempt for the home field advantage to show up. Well, I guess last week really was against the Packers, but this in terms of AFC teams having to go through Denver. This will be a chance for Broncos fans to really stand up and shut down that Jaguars offense that lit up the Jets, who have not forced an interception all year and allowed Trevor Lawrence to get 6 total touchdowns against them. So I think this is a reality check for the Jaguars here. I'll be on the Broncos. So we got a little bit of two-way action.
I like it. Where's Vinny?
I'm sure he'll probably.
There he is. There's the handsome devil.
As of right now, I'm leaning towards Ryan's side, Matt, because the Broncos are one of the top defenses in the league. It's them, it's Houston, and then probably the Rams and Seahawks, right? So if you compare, I mean, the Jags did do pretty good against them. They beat the Texans the first time, but it was a low-scoring game, 17-10. The next time they saw the Texans, they lost 36-29. There's your high-scoring game there, which I wouldn't be shocked because we just saw Green Bay and Denver be a pretty high-scoring game, which you were expecting that to be a defensive battle, but I'm leaning to the Broncos here. And we also, the Rams shut them down pretty good, 35-7. Seahawks, they lost 20-12. So they take advantage. They do well against the teams they're supposed to beat. The Jaguars do, and then kind of struggle against these better defenses. But with that being said, I mean, they are well coached right now. We'll see if this defense can handle this. It's a very unusual, but
I do
good
think
offense with the Jags and Trevor Lawrence right now.
I do think, to Ryan's point, this is kind of a show and prove game for the Jaguars. This is that reality check, and I think that the offense is going to be able to go. It's probably going to be cold. It's probably going to be windy there at the high altitude in Denver, but it's hot versus flaming hot when you got these two in the matchup. And Trevor Lawrence, all of a sudden, like I was having this conversation with a buddy yesterday. If you're an NFL franchise without a quarterback, what team says no to Trevor Lawrence right now? And I've been as anti-Trevor Lawrence as it gets, like not a hater per se, but I've been down on him even back to his time at Clemson, just in general, because I don't like Clemson. But if you're an NFL team, there's probably 2 quarterbacks, right, 2 or 3 that you take over him right now, but there's very few teams that would turn down Trevor Lawrence's services right now. That's not something that could have been said this time last year.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I just don't think him and Doug Peterson really were working out together, but I think him and Liam Cohen are doing great.
Yeah.
And he has looked a lot better. And leading this team right now, 10 wins for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we will see. Keeping it moving here. Here's one of my teaser legs because I think this might be a little bit of a reality check for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Feeling fat and happy after beating the Miami Dolphins. Now they have to go into Detroit, catching 7, total 51.5. Now that has moved up. It did open Lions 6.5. So the bettors do like the favorite at home. Total has bumped up from 49.5 to 51.5. I'm going to tease the Lions down. I do think that they find a way to win this game. So I think if you're just laying 1 point here, that's a pretty good spot.
I'm with you on that one. I agree. The Steelers took advantage of a Miami team that was due for some regression at home. The Monday night spot in Pittsburgh, as we've said, is about as automatic as it gets. And Tomlin with his back against the wall turns into Don Shula all of a sudden whenever those situations arise. So that was kind of a foreseeable matchup, I would say, especially with the Dolphins traveling to a cold weather city. That should have been the end of the handicap right there. Lions don't lose at home. Lions don't lose to teams that are worse than them at home. I think that's 2 for 2 here for Detroit. I think Rodgers is doing about what the Steelers expected. And he's not going above and beyond. Of course, that hand injury certainly kind of hampered some of the progress. But the Lions have a lot to play for, and I think it's a scary spot if you're going up against them. I'm with you. This is going to be a teaser leg for me, getting the Lions down to a point here.
The Lions also do not lose coming off of a loss.
Yep.
So you have that added in. So 3
Kneecaps.
for 3.
Kneecaps. We're biting kneecaps.
The Sports by the Book stamp of approval.
Love it.
2 more for our Sunday slate before we get to our Monday night one.
This one, yeah. Raiders, Texans. You got 2 teams going complete opposite directions, and I believe this one's going to be the biggest, by far the biggest spread on the board this week of 2 touchdowns. This one's going to get over 2 touchdowns in my mind. The Raiders find themselves in a serious conundrum here. This is another conversation I was having. Played a round of golf yesterday, so we talked a lot about the NFL with some of my Westgate buddies. What do the Raiders do here? Because you have 2 options. You either eat the money on the multi-year deal for Pete Carroll after the season, fire him and start anew, or you fire everybody but him and have him kind of start to rebuild it again. What is the decision here for the Raiders in the offseason? Because something drastic has to happen. Oh. And in the back says fire everybody. I will say one number that I saw. They're
paying way too many coaches right
That's
now.
the
Let's keep Pete Carroll for 1 more year.
I think you have to.
And see, and let's
give him a real quarterback. Sorry,
take
Gino.
it all the way. Are you sure it's a real quarterback, or is it just first 3 picks, move up, do whatever you have to, get some O-linemen?
I think that's the real issue, of course. And we'll see. I did see a note. Hey, they don't need help at D end. I saw a note that there have been now 7 times this year where a defensive lineman has played every snap of a game on defense. It's been Max Crosby 7 times. I mean, he is a one-man workhorse, like trying to will this team to a win himself. He can't score the points, so they need help on the other side of the ball.
Well, I mean, they're set up. They've got 2 really good tight ends. They've got a great running back.
They're set in certain areas.
Yeah.
It's just the areas where they're not set are glaring discrepancies.
Yes, very much so.
This one, no tease for me. No play on the total. Texans are the best defense in the league against the single worst offense. I got nothing on this one.
I mean, if we do see, we're starting to see 14.5.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
Yep.
So I was going to say, how can we
I literally tease the Raiders to 25. Wait for the line to get crazy before kickoff and tease the Raiders the other way. But
it's very unusual for the Texans to be this big of a favorite. They don't really play that style, right? They're really good defense.
Their offense started to click last week, though. They found some downfield passing, which they had been missing in the past.
That is correct. So,
but other than
stay
that,
away from me.
They did cover a double-digit number last week against the Cardinals, who the Raiders are worse than, depending on who you talk to. This is the 3rd leg of my teaser, the early number teasers, teasing the Texans down to 8, making it winning by a 2-score game. So I got the Bills teased down to 4, the Texans teased down to 8, and the Chargers teased up to 8 as my 3-leg early number teaser.
Now, I'm going to follow you on a couple of those.
Yeah, we got a few good options, I think, for this week. Last one on the Sunday slate here in the 10 a.m. morning window. Cincinnati -1.5. Wow, favorite flip here. So, or maybe it was a look ahead, Ryan, with the Dolphins being the favorite, and now it has flipped to the Bengals. Total 50.5. Are the Dolphins officially eliminated? I forgot to check that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so both of them.
Both of them eliminated, nothing to play for. And like Joe Burrow even came out and said, I'm going to play. I think it's like, I can see certain instances where it would be smart to bench a guy, but he's just coming back from the injury. He's fully healthy. I don't think it should be a storyline that your franchise quarterback is going to play out the rest of the regular season. It's I could do a whole hour, by the way, on these college players re-signing. I saw USC's making a big deal of being like, yeah, we've re-signed so-and-so. I'm like, yeah, you signed a 4-year scholarship.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I digress. I could go off on and on about that, but I mean,
Wait, USC. So Jada Maeva stayed.
that was the one that I didn't see yet.
Okay.
We'll talk about that one later because that's going to be a good storyline there. But the Bengals with Joe Burrow, I think the Dolphins. The question is was that 5-week run where they were the single best rushing offense in the league real, or was that just a matter of circumstance? Because if they are that team, if they are as good on the ground as they have been, they could beat the Bengals, I think, especially at home where they're so much better than on the road. But the question is that their identity? Does Tua make the most sure bet in sports and throw a pick in the first 5 minutes like last night? I was all over that one, Ryan. I see you pointing there. I think if the Dolphins can effectively control the running game and be the better team on the ground, I think they win this game going away.
The Dolphins defense. I mean, the Bengals defense is still really bad. So I think they will definitely look better against this unit.
What do you got on this one, Ryan?
I would be a play on the Bengals. I know I had confidence in the Dolphins last night, but watching them get dominated on the line of scrimmage by the Steelers, and the way that the Bengals controlled the time of possession, outgained the Ravens this last week, 4 turnovers from Joe Burrow, getting shut out. It's a bounce back, getting the culture back going for the Bengals here.
I like that. I like that idea. I mean, it's so tough. And there's certain teams like you can play these angles at the end of the year with the teams that are motivated. There's certain teams like the Steelers where they're going to play until the very end because they're always right on that line. And then there's certain teams where they phone it in because they're tanking. You got to find that balance here. This is a really, really tough part of the schedule to handicap really for about half the league at this point.
Oh, it definitely is. And kind of like the bowl games that we will get to, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot about motivation and trying to handicap that as well. So let's dive into our deep dives for the games that we want to talk about. We'll start backwards. We're going to start with our Monday night game right here with the Niners and the Indianapolis Colts. So the Colts, it'll be Phillip Rivers' second start here. 49ers playing a whole lot better. Brock Purdy playing really good. They have 10 wins on the season. It'll be tough, but they could win the division. 6-point favorite, total 46.5. Anything jump out to you immediately when you saw this side or total?
I mean, I think the number's just about right. I don't know necessarily how to value Phillip Rivers when it comes to the spread. I think that's kind of what you have to ask yourself as someone who makes numbers, and the books kind of have to ask themselves. It's like, can the human brain alone will itself to an NFL win? Because he's got no body, he's got no legs, no arm, but he is the old school quarterback that we're starting to see go away, where a lot of the newer school quarterbacks, so to speak, are relying a lot on athleticism and early jumps and the running games and the RPO to give them advantages, whereas the guys like Rivers, the guys like both Mannings, the guys like Brady, they know exactly where and when the ball is supposed to be in certain windows, and if it's not there, you go to your next 1, 2, 3 options down. And like I said, it's like the human brain literally willing itself through an NFL game at 44. I mean, I saw someone describe his arm as tenderloin. I think that's an insult to tenderloin because that's one of my favorite cuts of meat. But I think that Phillip Rivers also is not getting enough credit for running the offense that Shane Steichen runs at a practice at a high school level every single day and throws in the offense. I think that that's the undervalued part of all this. That being said, I think you got a coaching advantage. Not much of one, but I think there is a coaching advantage with Shanahan over Steichen. I think the motivation factor is there for the 49ers. I think with a week of tape and a week of preparation on Phillip Rivers, they're going to be able to create havoc. And I wouldn't be surprised if they blitz all day long against the 44-year-old.
Ooh, this is such a tough one to handicap because, I mean, I think 6 is too high for this 49ers team on the road right now with their current state. And
I think it's under or nothing for me.
Was going to say the thing that impressed me the most about the Colts this past weekend was what they did to the Seahawks. They did not give up a touchdown, right? 6 field goals to a really good offense. So I think that their defense is really going to stand up and pin their ears back in this one. So I don't hate that under at all. I'd lean to taking the points. Ryan, what say you in this matchup?
Well, this could be, with some help, the 49ers' final road game of the year, included the postseason, if they do get the help that they would need in order to
Wow.
get the 1 seed, and they could end up playing the Super Bowl in their home stadium. So an added factor for the Niners there. But I think the Phillip Rivers point is the most important factor in this game. Matt, you had mentioned that he runs this offense in high school. We watched them be able to score the only touchdown of the game last week against a better Seahawks defense. And you give him an extra week to get his timing back, get his rhythm back, understand the flow of NFL football again when he had taken 5 years off. And you just watch the Titans be able to put up some second half points on this Niners defense. So I do think the Colts will be a competitive game, especially with the Colts fans being able to welcome Phillip Rivers back and have it be a home field advantage there in Indianapolis. So not at all a confident play with the Niners here. Wouldn't be able to lay the 6. It would be more so a take on the 6 or even a tease up to for a single-digit game getting the 12. So, yeah, definitely think the Colts are live here.
I also think that under is very much in play here. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game at all. I could very much see it finishing like 17-10, 20-13, something like that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points. And kind of with what you had just said, Ryan, a Colts tease, I don't know if they get blown out at home, especially with the fanfare. There's going to be a lot of folks there for Phillip Rivers. Kind of almost makes you forget that he was a Charger for the vast majority of his career with the reception that he gets in Indy. I think Colts 12 is going to have to go on a teaser for me.
I'll just say one thing about the under, because this Niners defense has their injuries still, and they're still trying to work through that. Robert Saleh doing his best, but coming off a bye week, you give up 24 points to the Tennessee Titans. That worries me a little bit. And that's why I think the case for taking the points with the dog is probably the better pick. They also gave up 136 rushing yards. Tony Pollard had 104. So could be a big Jonathan Taylor day as well. Brian.
Also, just a fun all-time note. You guys know I like to bring it in. The Colts lead this rivalry all-time 27-19. They were in the same division back in the 60s, so they did play twice a year back then. They have only played once every 4 years for the last 40. So going back to 2005, the Colts have won every single matchup.
No way.
5 straight for the Indianapolis Colts against the San Francisco 49ers.
That's interesting. And you mentioned Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Fantasy playoffs, either last week or this week, starting for just about everybody. I got 2 leagues, both my playoffs starting this week. I have 2 players that I have on my 2 teams. Drake May, Jonathan Taylor. So I need big games for both of those guys this weekend.
Well, that is a perfect tease because we are going to go to the New England Patriots game up next so we can get to our final 2. So let's go to the Patriots on the road in Baltimore, catching 3 points. Remember, the Ravens open 2.5, so we are seeing some movement in that direction for the favorite, who is 7-7, trying to catch up to the Steelers right now. They need a little bit of help. Total 48, but the Pats, with a loss to the Bills, they're still trying to play for that overall number 1 seed in the AFC. Matt, we know you are a Patriots fan. Unbiased, you like the 3 points here with New England?
I do, mostly because I'm going to go against the Ravens defensively. I mean, the Patriots put up 31 against the Bills, and the Bills aren't, a top tier defense, but I think with how these teams are playing right now, give me the Bills defense over the Ravens if I were to pick them for my team, especially considering the health of Baltimore's defense all season long. And, the Patriots basically, they say the phrase like, threw up all over themselves. They were up 21-0, and the Bills scored right before the half. And we talked about the critical 8 earlier in the show. That was kind of where that game flipped. And all of a sudden, Josh Allen gets momentum. I think he is probably, if there's a quarterback in the league that you don't want to give any sliver of momentum to because he can take it, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. I think Josh Allen probably is the number 1 guy in the league that you would think of that of. So that's just the wrong guy to give up that momentum to. The Patriots offense was not the problem. It was the defense against the run game. And, while I think Derrick Henry has a big game, he's going to get his way more often than not. It's going to be about bottling up Lamar Jackson. I don't know if the current receiving crop for the Ravens is anything to be too concerned about for this really good pass coverage that the Patriots have had all year. I like the Patriots. I think this one goes under. And this is a big bounce back spot because the Patriots do have that 1-game lead over the Bills for the AFC East. And I think with the matchups against the Jets and the Dolphins coming up in the last 2 weeks, this is really the biggest, most volatile test the rest of the way for New England. And they know that. They're going to be ready to go, I think.
It was a lay of the 2.5 for the Ravens in the market, and I think it's a take on the 3 with the Patriots, especially on the road. Matt, you had mentioned they blow a 21-0 lead at home to a division rival. They need to lose out, or they need to lose games in order to help the Bills get back and win the AFC East, but I think the Patriots realize what's in front of them. Stephon Diggs even pointed out that maybe they even needed to remember what it felt like to lose, as they were one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in the National Football League, now the Broncos. But getting outscored 28-7 in the second half at home. You now go on the road in what's going to be a playoff atmosphere, getting you warmed up for the playoffs. It's a play on the Patriots here for me, especially with the Ravens shutting out the Bengals and fading a team that just shut out a team. Lost the time of possession to the Bengals, outgained by the Bengals, still managed to shut them out. I think the Patriots are going to be able to get it done here.
And I think if Mike Vrabel does nothing else this week, he's going to have that team ready to go coming out of the locker room. I think they're going to be fired up for this one.
Well, we'll find out how they respond, because that is a very tough way to lose.
And it
could
flexed.
take them a little bit of time here to bounce back in this spot. The Ravens are a very desperate team.
Very much so.
They are still alive. They could kind of count on the Steelers messing up down the stretch a little bit and making that week 18th mean something. So everything right in front of them. I don't have a play. I made it 3.5 here for Baltimore, but we'll see.
I'd probably wait, because I think the number does get there. If you're going to take New England, get the 3.5 or 4. What do they say though? Hungry dogs run faster. I think that is the only thing that really scares me about this one, is the Ravens and how desperate they are.
I don't know. I think we might see that 2.5 again.
I think we're more likely to see that.
Yeah.
We mentioned the fact that this game was flexed to be Sunday Night Football next week. The Ravens also had next week's game against the Green Bay Packers flexed to be a primetime game. So
Ravens running the gauntlet here at the end of the year too.
Yeah.
New England, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh with those last 2 on the road. That's a really tough finishing schedule for Harbaugh and company.
All must wins.
Literally.
To get in. Yeah.
Wow.
Not completely outgained, but very close. Ryan, 317 total yards for the Ravens to 298. But I mean, through
still,
the
Four
passing,
4 turnovers. Yeah.
Lamar Jackson only at 128 passing yards
Brody.
to Joe Burrow's at 198. But yeah, the 39 time possession there to 20-45 is pretty crazy.
Pretty striking advantage there, yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to buy any stock on the Ravens yet. We'll see if they can turn it around. But let's go. We got 2 more. I'm excited to get to Saturday's game next. And we did see this one already. So this is a rematch just 2 weeks ago. The Packers did get the best of the Bears. They were at home. They won that one by 7. So they covered as a 6.5-point favorite. Now the Packers are just a 1-point favorite on the road in Chicago. Total 47. Now, a little bit kind of similar to the last one we just talked about, because the Packers did have the advantage in yards. The Bears actually had the time of possession advantage in that matchup. Ryan, why don't you kick it off? What do you think about this one, the second time these two are meeting this year?
Yeah, you had mentioned that they met 2 weeks ago. The Packers did cover the spread. They were a 6-point favorite. Well, opened to 5.5, went to 6, 6.5. They did manage to cover that game. The Bears did have the final drive. Not necessarily, because Caleb Williams threw an interception in the end zone, which would have tied the game, or would have put them down 1. And it begs the question: would they have kicked the field goal to go for a tie into overtime, or would they have gone for 2 to try and win it right then and there? Key thing there, you'd mentioned, the Packers did outgain them, but the Bears controlled the time of possession. They also outgained the Packers on the ground. And you add in the fact that Micah Parsons will not be playing in this game, will not be playing for the remainder of the year for the Packers. And Christian Watson is questionable for the Packers offense. The Packers were able to beat the Bears based on the fact that they had man-beating plays on offense, beating the man coverage for the Bears on defense. Christian Watson, long touchdown, and I believe Romeo Doubs was the other long touchdown.
It was Romeo.
So you add in the fact that Jalen Johnson is now back for the Chicago Bears. Tremaine Edmonds was activated off of IR. The Bears are getting healthier on defense. The Packers cannot say the same. And we've seen it already be a take of the 1.5, moving more to the Bears number. I think it closes a pick here. I do also have some other. Rome Odunze should still be out in this game. He's dealing with an injury in his foot. honestly should be shut down for the remainder of the regular season. Luther Burden is questionable with an ankle injury, in which he flared up in this past week. But after the first matchup, Ben Johnson had said that DJ Moore was a big part of the game plan, and he only had one catch in that game. So now you have Roma Dunze out, Luther Burden likely out. DJ Moore is still going to be a focal point of this Bears offense, but you add in the fact that they outgained them on the ground in that first matchup. It's going to be even more of a focal point to run the ball, control the clock, have the fans show up in Chicago. Yeah, it's a play on the Bears here, despite me being a Bears fan.
in spite of. I would lean Bears. I would probably lean heavier to the under, just with all those injuries. I think a lot of the offenses for both teams not necessarily set in stone with the personnel groupings. So yeah, I would lean under just based on the disarray in terms of the both teams' availability in the receiving core. I would lean Bears based off of those storylines. You never know. Sometimes a quarterback can take it upon himself like a Jordan Love. This is going to be a big time show it game for Jordan Love. I do think that the Bears do come out with the win. I don't know. This one is tight. I think one feels about right. This one should be a pick'em.
I'm with you, though. I do like the under here. 49 total points in that first matchup, but with everything we just said, I mean, I think it's going to be a run-heavy script on both sides. The weather, the temperature is definitely going to be a lot colder than it was even in that first one. No, Ryan?
It's actually supposed to be pretty nice in the 40s this weekend.
Balmy. 40 degrees in Chicago in December. What are we doing? Yeah, these are the two NFC North teams that are outdoors, so this is what they want.
Well, maybe we can go first half under here.
I like it.
Feeling it out, first half, run heavy. I do think it will be run heavy, though, especially if Christian Watson is questionable. And we've seen, I mean, the Bears, I really do like what they are doing with their balanced offense. That's the one thing that concerns me with taking Chicago in this spot, looking at the yards per play. I mean, Green Bay was 6.5 yards per attempt to 4.6 for Chicago.
That's a big discrepancy.
Actually, that's just yards per play, 6.5 to
more.
4.6.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was the passing. The passing was big too. It was 8.5 to 4.9.
Yeah, the Bears weren't able to do anything in the first half, and really were only able to get the offense going in the second half or in the first matchup. So,
but I mean, if you're outgained by 2 yards of play on average, that is actually in the NFL, like I said, where the numbers are a lot tighter. That is a huge discrepancy in a single game.
But now they won't have Micah Parsons, so
that's a big difference for sure.
Their offense should take a step forward a little bit.
I'm expecting it.
All right, before we take a break, Ryan, one more thing.
I got one just funny note with the Packers without Christian Watson, specifically this season, 6 games without him so far. They are 4-1-1. Those 4 wins, they scored exactly 27 points in each of them. So their offense they also scored 40 and then 10. But yeah, just a funny note there.
Very good. Is Romeo Dobbs the one with the Guardian?
He is.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Guarding something. We don't know what. As long as it's not those awful Packers throwbacks again, just from an aesthetic standpoint, this game will be better. But
let's hit the Thursday night game. Let's get Matt's thoughts. Ryan and I will break it down more as the week goes on, especially on Thursday morning. But let's talk about the trends for the Rams and the Seahawks. We'll take a break. We'll come back with all of our best bets for the night. We'll just kind of throw our hockey on our board and give them out before we get everybody out of here. We will also go over our poll and our trivia because I like it. Turn around Tuesday is our poll question. So hopefully everybody jumped in and voted on that.
All right. You want me to hit just a couple of quick trends?
Here we go. Rams and Seahawks this Thursday.
Thursday night game, rapid fire. 17-3. The Rams are 17-3 ATS in December over the last 5 seasons. I think that's a huge number. You can count on Sean McVay getting his team hot as he goes into the playoffs. In the 2 December games this year, they have won and covered both, putting up 86 combined points against the Cardinals and the Lions. Neither team anything to write home against defensively, but they put up 500 yards in both games. And I think that consistency over this month, they put up 1,000 yards of offense already in 2 games this month. The Rams, as I mentioned, are 3-0 against Sam Darnold personally over the last season and a half. And how about this? Rams on the road over their last 13, Alex, 11-2 ATS. They've covered 11 of their last 14 in Seattle. So not only do they win on the road, they dominate at Lumen Field. They have also gone 17-5 ATS in their last 22 on the road in general. Give me the Rams. Give me them early in the week because I think that this one is going to toggle back and forth. I think we're going to see both teams favored one way or another by the time this one kicks off Thursday.
I do too. So if you are looking for one or the other and you do want it to be a teaser leg, I think you can just shop around and you can find that +1 and tease it up to 7 there. I will just mention, and we'll talk about it more, but in that first game, the Rams won 21-19. Seahawks had 4 turnovers to the Rams 1. So -3 in the turnover margin and only lost by 2. Outgained LA 414-249. So we will see.
Seahawks also had to settle for 4 field goals in that game.
See, and that concerns me because we just saw it again this past Sunday.
I guess the question in this one becomes is who do you value in terms of the coaching staffs more to make adjustments? Give me McVay second time around against this Seattle team that he'll have the coaching advantage against, I think, at just about every position. We'll see.
It's tough.
It's kind of a square play to say, yeah, the road team's going to just dominate like I think they will, but it's the Rams, it's Matt Stafford. He's playing for MVP as well. I think that's maybe not, if you asked him, maybe not something he would admit, but that's in the back of his mind.
I don't think it's square. I think majority of people right now are on the same page that the Rams are the best team in the league right now. So if you're going to back them here in week 16, you can't not fault you.
I might wait and see if they get up to like a point dog or something like that. Who knows?
Chris did say yesterday some sharp action was coming in on the Seahawks, and I think a lot of that is those who look at turnovers and stuff like that and kind of a regression to the mean would be betting on Seattle here. Any last thoughts on that one, Ryan? Are you saving them for Thursday?
We can save them for Thursday.
The only thing is Devontae Adams is probably not playing in this one.
And that looks so painful.
Yeah, he was listed
as someone, I don't know if you ever pulled a hammy, Ryan, in mid-stride. It's the most, it hurts like hell, and B, it's like the most embarrassing injury because you're running and then all of a sudden you
look like yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst.
So that could impact a little bit, but Puka Nacua has been awesome, and we'll have to double-check that he is fully 100%, but he looked like it after the game. So, all right, that's it for us for now for Week 16, breaking down at the NFL. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will hit the chat here, check in with everybody who is watching us live. We will go over the ticker trivia. We will also go over the poll, and then we will give you our best bets on this Tuesday, December 16th, right here on Sports by the Book.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, Don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
And we're back here at the South Point Studio, Sports by the Book, 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday, and then, of course, Fridays, Football Frenzy, noon to 2 p.m. Pacific time. Alex White, Matt Neverett, and Ryan McCormick all here with you. I did see in the chat, thank you guys for jumping in here. Dean Hilt asked if any of us three had a play on the bowl game. So Troy and Jacksonville State, a favorite flip. Troy opened as a 4-point favorite at some books early on. That is where my number was too. But then really after people dove into it, the bettors like Jacksonville State here in this one. Troy's got a lot of injuries on the offensive line. And between their two quarterbacks, looks like Goose Crowder is going to try and go, but he did get knocked out of the Sun Belt Championship. So don't know how much he's going to be 100% here in this one.
Well, the running back, Tay Crowder, is opting out of the game. He's going to hit the transfer portal and see what greener pastures he can take advantage of next year. But I've got an interesting look at this one as a Sun Belter myself out of App State. Troy needed 2 overtime wins in conference play just to get to the Sun Belt Championship game where they were just obliterated by James Madison. Where's the number that I wrote down? 2.6 yards per play in that game against the Duke. So they were just obliterated. That was just a mismatch. This is the 64th meeting all time. These two teams used to be rivals back in the day, but this is the first time that Troy and Jacksonville State have squared off since 2001. This one used to be called the Old School Bell. So like not only what a rivalry, but one that had a nickname. Jacksonville State has better numbers across the board, but open as a dog. Why? Because they have the single easiest strength of schedule in all of college football. They play the 136th hardest schedule in the country. Nobody had it easier than Jackson State. The thing is, Troy's defense is abysmal. Their offense is okay. They're averaging 4.7 yards per play this year. But the defense giving up a full yard more per game, 5.7 yards per game allowed for their opponents. Troy missing the starting running back. The Trojans are allowing 183 yards per game on the ground. I don't think Jacksonville State's going to need to do too much more once they get a lead. I think they're going to be able to run it out. It's going to be on my whiteboard play, but I'm all over the Gamecocks today. I think Jacksonville State, a program on the rise. They're not going to have the easiest schedule in the country next year, and I think this is going to be kind of a springboard for them in a bowl win.
Jacksonville State is in between all of the service academies here. They are 4th in the country in rushing yards per game, averaging 252
there you go,
per game.
better.
So that is their identity. So that makes it pretty tough for them going up against a pretty bad rush defense. I don't have a play officially. Like I said, my original number was Troy 4 because I do think that the Sun Belt's a little bit above the Conference USA. Both of these, the runner-ups, right? But I think with all that being said, really in these bowl games, you kind of got to throw your power rating out, right? And do the handicapping like that. I made it 50 also, but I would not be betting this game over. I think that Jacksonville State is going to run the ball and I think run the clock. So I would be going under here at this 49.5. Ryan has some thoughts too.
Yeah, Alex, you had mentioned that your opening number was 4. That is where we opened at the South Point, and it has been steady down 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, and then jumped from 1.5 to pick, and then now we're at Troy getting a point when they opened a 4-point favorite. The total also opened 46.5 and has been steady up 47, 47.5, 48, jumped to 49. And now here to 49.5. So
and it's not too often that you see a line go up when the favorite is being bet down, right? Like, that's just a weird kind of happenstance for me.
I think, well, you mentioned about Troy's defense, and they looked better against James Madison because I thought that they were going to get blown out worse than that.
The offense was atrocious.
I mean, that was their last shot to win the championship, right? They're all in that one.
Yeah.
So
They were big dogs in that game, and they looked like it.
Definitely did. Okay, let's go to the NBA Cup championship here in Vegas. Ryan, movement-wise, not much, right? The New York Knicks, the favorite here, and they remain a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, open 2.5 here at the South Point, has stayed right there. Total open 230 and has been steady up. 131, 131.5, jumped to 33, 33.5, 34, and now 34.5. 234.5 is where we sit for the total. it's a play on the Spurs for me, the underdog. Victor Wembanyama is a whole different alien.
Literally, yeah.
And the way that they handled the Thunder, I don't know how the Knicks will be able to get it done here in Las Vegas.
I saw Wemby in person the other day. I was calling a high school Nike EYBL game over at T-Mobile while they were getting set up, and I saw him come run out, and it was the night before that semifinal game, and run some sprints on the court, and I was like, I'm in awe. And I mean, I'm around athletes enough. I'm around basketball players especially a lot, and he's one of those ones where I stopped what I was doing and watched him. I think the only other experience that I've had like that recently was I saw Oliver Ryu from Florida in person, the 7'9" teenager out of Canada, and like, it's one of those ones I walk by him and you look up, and in my mind immediately I said, this is the tallest human being I've ever seen in my entire life. So it's just one of those ones where you kind of are taken aback by the height of these guys, especially someone with Wemby's skill set and able to do what he wants on the floor.
So you jumping in on the dog there too, or you're passing on this one? But I heard you say earlier it'd be San Antonio.
Maybe San Antonio or bust for me, just with the motivation. I think with Wembanyama back, that's a huge motivation factor. And Ryan, we were talking about the Cup MVP odds before this one. Jalen Brunson, what was it, minus 120 to win MVP, and Wemby's plus 380, and it's for the whole tournament, so you got to keep that in mind. But I don't see a way where the Spurs win, especially if Wemby goes 20-10 or something like that, and he doesn't get it. That may be a good way to get in on some good value with a pizza money bet.
I'm seeing minus 125, so yes, odds-on favorite to win the NBA Cup Tournament MVP, Jalen Brunson, and Wemby plus 380. So interesting there. And then the next one it's Fox and Castle, so two more Spurs there that have a shot. So Brunson must be really putting this team on his back.
Brunson or bust.
That's the one thing that kind of makes me nervous here. I mean, you got Cat and Brunson. You got a lot of older guys here with the New York Knicks, but who knows? I mean, can't really go against you guys taking points there with Wemby and how he's playing.
It's not a confident bet, but certainly a lean.
Well, let's go to the ice where we do have some confident bets going into tonight. Hopefully we can shake off last night. I feel like Ryan and I were on a roll for a while. We were picking out these teams, wrong team favorite, right? Getting some good dogs here, and I was feeling better with my totals. So I'm going to try and get back on track. Ryan, I'll tell you, the Blackhawks jumped out to me immediately. I know that Connor Bedard is out right now. I just don't see how we can make the Toronto Maple Leafs minus 190 against anyone right now. I mean, you got the better goalie with Spencer Knight, so maybe it's just a play on the under, but it's already down to 5.5, so I can't get there because I definitely made it higher. But I'm gonna stay away from it. But where was your head at with this one? Catching plus 170 with the Blackhawks, and I even wrote it in overnight line plus 196. So I guess some other bettors agreed with me with Chicago.
Yeah, it opened 190 here at the South Point, has gone steady down, getting action on the Blackhawks, which I don't think is right. I won't be playing the Blackhawks tonight. It'll be their second game without Connor Bedard. He did go on short-term IR, so he'll be more than likely without. The team will more than likely be without him until the new year, but he wants to get back immediately. It is a upper body injury, most likely a shoulder, that he had an ailment before it actually all went down and happened on the final play of the game against the Blues. But they were shut out against the Red Wings 4-0. Their offense really doesn't look the same without the former number 1 overall pick. And missing Connor Bedard is going to hurt for a little bit. So I would not be playing the Blackhawks here, especially now that it's moved down to 170.
Skipping the next two here, but you do have a play, and both of us have been backing the Bruins. Bruins hosting the Mammoth.
Yeah, it's the first of a back-to-back for the Mammoth. They're in the middle of a 3-game road trip. They won 5-4 in overtime against the Penguins on Sunday. It's the first game off of a road trip for the Bruins. First game back home, start of a 5-game homestand. They are coming off of a 6-2 loss against the Minnesota Wild. Quinn Hughes' first game with the Minnesota Wild. I do not think that the Mammoth should be favored here in this game. I know it's only slight, minus 115, 105. But the Bruins, I think, are the right side here, especially being the fact that they are really good at home, 11-5 at home so far this year, no overtime losses. And the Mammoth have not been good on the road, 8-10-2. So 8-12 on the money line are the Mammoth on the road. So give me the Bruins, minus the 105 here.
I agree with that handicap for sure. I do have Boston, small favorite at home. I'm going to go with the under, though, now that we're getting at 6. I think it's because people are seeing the trends here. Utah on a 4-game over trend and the Bruins on a 3-game over trend. But at home, Boston, their last home game went under that total. Both of these two have solid medians, 3-3 for the Mammoth Boston Bruins, 3 goals for and 2 goals against. So I think we're getting a better number here because of trends and people betting it over. I like both these goalies here, Swayman and Vejmelka has been very good for Utah to start as well.
The reverse puck line, you're getting a shorter price than you are getting the normal puck line with the Mammoth. So Bruins minus a puck and a half, plus 215 over at STN here in Las Vegas. So they kind of think that it's going to be Bruins here too.
That does kind of makes, well, I was going to say for the home team, but it's not like really have much of an advantage.
Takes a very specific matchup for that to be the case, right?
Yeah. But good. Okay, so he's going reverse puck line there with the Boston Bruins laying the 1.5. I'm going with the under 6, so I hope it's just a shutout for Boston, to be honest, so we can both get there. Anaheim, Blue Jackets, Anaheim on a back-to-back. I'm going to stay away from that one. The Ducks did beat the Rangers yesterday, and this is their 4th game in 6 nights, so I can see why people are backing the Blue Jackets, but they have not been playing good hockey. Lost 5 in a row coming into this one. I will say I am tempted to play the Flyers and the Canadiens over. I'm confused on why we're getting such a low number here at 5.5. I've got this 6.15, so 6 juice to the over is what number I would put out there if I was a bookie. Looking at their medians, the Canadiens at home giving up 4 goals. That's their median number, and scoring 3, and it's 3-3 for the Flyers. So I think I'm going to throw that over on my card. And then one more under, Capitals Wild. It's up to 6 now everywhere. I went under 5.5 last night, getting even money. Not really sure why it's gone up. Is it confirmed Logan Thompson? Have you seen that? Let me double check that really quick. See, goalie post is different. It says Charlie Lindgren, but then RotoWire does have Logan Thompson. Maybe
wait till, because what time is this one drop?
But so my whole handicap here is the Capitals are number 2 right now in goals allowed. Lindgren hasn't played that many games because he has been dealing with some injuries too. But still, I mean, Capitals have been very good. It's not just their goaltending, it's also their defensemen. I like this game to stay under. And we've talked about Volstedt a lot here, the young goalie for Minnesota. Look at those numbers. 1.95 goals against average and a .937 save percentage. So I'm going to go under. I'll put 6 on my board. So that's an under. Flyers over. What do we think, guys? Oilers, Penguins. We got to talk about it.
The goalie swap. This is
there anything we can do?
NHL wife swap. One of my favorite guilty pleasure TV shows, by the way.
That's pretty funny. I mean, it looks like the bettors are taking the Oilers, right? It would only be a play on Edmonton, maybe team total over.
I mean, the way that the Penguins lost against the Sharks too, as of late, like, and I am a Penguins fan. That's my team. They're just old and slow, unfortunately.
5 in a row now.
Yeah, they're just in a bad way right now. It's so tough to bet on the Penguins right now. You know, storyline wise, it's an interesting one here. I think Edmonton's got the advantage in Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, I think if that game against San Jose went a little differently earlier in the week, I may be of a different opinion. But
I will just say Tristan Jarry's first start for Edmonton did not go great either. But this is a whole different story, right? Ryan, what do you think? Are we going puck line with the Oilers?
I would like to think, that the Oilers will be fired enough to go up to try and stick it to Stuart Skinner. But I mean, they're also human.
Yes.
It's not, this one won't be a play for me. I'll just watch it and kind of enjoy it. But we did want your guys' thoughts on in today's poll. This was a game involved in the poll. So Turnaround Tuesday, which plus money team ready to break their 2+ game losing streak? Getting plus is ready to break their 2+ game losing streak. The Penguins have lost 5 straight. The Flyers have lost 3 straight. The Kraken and Blackhawks have each lost 2 in a row. So we were looking at Flyers getting plus 105 on the road in Montreal, taking on the Canadiens. The Blackhawks getting plus 170 now on the road in Toronto, taking on the Maple Leafs. The Penguins plus 120 at home against the Oilers. And the Kraken plus 240 at home against the Colorado Avalanche. And our viewers, only one of them thought that the Penguins would be able to get it done here. So, but 56% going with the Flyers plus 105, the shortest of the odds on the road against the Habs.
Makes sense. If it's not one Pennsylvania team, it's another.
I actually don't hate that at all either. You kind of brought up a point there that I was thinking. That's why I'm curious about this game so much. There's no way they go easy, right? And Tristan Jarry's probably going to get a nice ovation there.
You would hope.
Because
Yeah.
he's been there since
He's also well-liked. He's well-liked in
2016.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah. We were looking it up because they won 2016, 2017, right?
Yeah, but he was the backup on that team.
Yeah.
Only played one game for them, so he's not technically a Cup champion.
No, I mean, hey, that's one game. That's one more game than you played for them that year.
This is true, but
There you
we
go.
share the same amount of Cup titles.
Ah,
But
technically.
it doesn't say.
it was Casey
technically.
DeSmith was another one of their backups at the time.
Very good. Okay, that's it. And sorry, I do have one more play. And then Ryan, if you have anything else with hockey, but I'm taking a shot here with San Jose. I'm taking the best price out there is plus 124 at home, hosting the Calgary Flames. I just don't think this number is correct. I think it should be minus 105 both ways. Calgary has been playing better as of late, but Sharks have been pretty good at home. Their median numbers are 3-3, and Calgary's 2 goals for, 3.5 goals against, so between 3 and 4 for them in those matchups. So I'll take a shot here. Sharks have won 2 in a row, feeling good coming into this, and you're getting a plus price.
Don't let the Sharks get hot.
And that's it for me. All right, who's kicking us off? Matt,
I'll go
it's
with my board.
Tuesday.
Let's do it, baby.
That means you get to give us your whiteboard plays of the day first.
First off, baby, I got a bowl game play. Love bowl season. I was not going to touch the LA Bowl with Ryan's money, so this is going to be my first bowl game of the year. Give me Jacksonville State. Give me the Gamecocks as a pick 'em. Mentioned that they're the 4th highest rushing attack in the entirety of the country in terms of yards per game. This is a Troy team that is banged up, missing their starting running back, and gives up 190 yards per game on the ground. I think Jacksonville State, despite their easy schedule, rolls in this game. I think they run all over the Trojans. I mentioned that I like the Falcons and the Cardinals over in this game. 2 quarterbacks playing for their jobs next year, and 2 teams that have been able to put up a bunch of points. Falcons also allowing 40 or more points in 4 of their last 6. And I'm on the teaser train, baby. Give me the Lions minus the 1 at home. Give me the Chargers plus the 8 against the Cowboys, like we had mentioned. And then, Ryan, you got me on the Colts. Catching 12 on the 6-point tees at home. I don't think they get blown out anyway. I think it happens even less with Phillip Rivers likely to get the reception that he is coming back home. And I don't think there's a lot of points scored in that game anyway. So give me the home dog teased up in a game where I think points are going to be at a premium.
Well, choo-choo, going with the teaser train.
Yeah, buddy.
My early number teasers, we've got the Bills down to 4, the Texans down to 8, and the Chargers getting up to 8. So they're on the road in Dallas. And then tonight's action, the Bruins on the money line is the main unit play, and then we'll go a little pizza money on the puck line, reverse puck line, minus a puck and a half for the Bruins, getting plus 215 there.
Plus 215. I wish I would have found a dog like that. I am got my teaser too. My lucky number is 1 because I've got no, that's going to be a 7. That is what the number is.
There you go.
All right, so 7-1, 7-1. So Seahawks from 1 to 7, and the Lions from 7 to 1.
Flip them.
And then I'm just taking the Colts plus 6. I don't need your 12 there. I
don't need no stinking 12.
Okay, and then here is my hockey for the day. Utah and Boston. I'm going under that 6. The Flyers and the Canadians over 5.5. Washington and Minnesota under 6. If you want to wait on that one and make sure that it is Logan Thompson. Oh, confirmed. Charlie Lindgren is confirmed, but I'm still okay with it, especially because the Capitals dropped 3 of their last 4 games, averaged 2 goals per game, so they are on a little bit of a skid offensively there. Sharks plus 124. That is my underdog of the day at home against the Flames. So let's try and get some winners this time. Sorry we went over a little bit, but it was fun. We got a lot of good information out there, as always.
We also do have ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine. It was a football question for you guys today. City Light Shine also available at Lee's Discount Liquor, Total Wine here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, and Legend Edition bottles available for rewards points to earn a free bottle there. So on this date in sports history, December 16th, 1972, the Miami Dolphins won their 14th regular season game of the 1972 season against the Baltimore Colts. The team would go on to have the only perfect NFL season date, winning all playoff games and the Super Bowl. Which Dolphins player was named Super Bowl 7 MVP?
Is that Greasy?
It was not. The answer would be 5-time Pro Bowler and College Football Hall of Fame safety. Jake Scott was named the MVP in the Dolphins' historic 1972 season. He was the first player in Super Bowl history to cover 2 fumbles in the same game. Scott is the only NFL player to date to recover both one of his own teams and his opponent's fumbles in a single Super Bowl game.
I guess that's deserving of MVP. I guess.
We're always trying to find a defensive player.
Vince loves
these days,
those.
And it's very tough. All right, guys. Yes, Ryan.
I do have one more thing. We did go 37-ish minutes over because we needed to. It's my mom's, Mimi's, will go birthday today. She's celebrating her 37th. So love you, Mom. Happy birthday. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for the confetti there too.
Love the confetti.
Good. Yes, perfect timing. By Drew Dog there. Happy birthday again. Ryan, you could have started with that.
Yeah, we could have led with Mama McCormick. Come on.
But that's it for us for today. We will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Good luck, everybody, with your bets. Again, we'll be back on Thursday to really break down that Rams and Seahawks game. Let us know in the comments if you'd like any college basketball. The sooner, the better. But starting next week, right, we'll have
Conference play, baby. Let's go.
We'll have some real breakdowns for college basketball. Really going to jump into that. So bowl games for now and some hockey and some NFL. But thank you, Matt Neverett. We love Tuesdays. We appreciate you. For Ryan McCormick, thank you, Ryan. We'll be back for the rest of the week. And thank you to the crew, everybody who works so hard here on Sports by the Book. See you guys tomorrow. Cash some tickets. I'm Alex White. This has been Sports by the Book.